So this is my friend Charles, and Charles will open the bottle and talk about the tasting. I'll get some glasses.
You want me to open?
I want you to open this bottle.
Wow. What a privilege.
So Charles, talk to him about. So bourbon is meant to be enjoyed, not to be aged. So to find a bottle this old is unfathomable. Like, you're not going to find a bottle this old anywhere. My friend Kevin here has found this bottle through another friend.
Yep. Through a neighbor. Whose father bought it.
And Charles will talk a little bit about how we smell it. And how we taste it, because we don't drink bourbon, we taste bourbon. So John Paul, the founder of Four Roses, when he got to Kentucky, he met a Southern belle. Let him hold the bottle. So he met a Southern belle and fell in love, got quite smitten with this lady and proposed. And when he proposed, there was a grand ball that week. And he said, if you'll accept my proposal, I would like for you to wear a rose on your lapel to the grand ball. Mm-hmm. And she showed up with 4 roses. And therefore, he called his bourbon 4 Roses. So it's very fitting for what we're doing, and Miss Hannah and the Southern Belle. And Charles, will you go through a tasting real quick?
Yes. So to really smell bourbon properly, you really don't want to do like this as a wine tasting. You don't want to really bury your nose down in, because you really just get a lot of the ethanols and the alcohol. So what's really good, and it may be a little tough today because we're a little air breezy out here, sort of bring the glass about 4 to 6 inches and come up slowly. We got a lot of breeze in the room, outdoors here, but you may have to get fairly close. But typically, you were going to want to let the vapors come to you. The closer you keep getting, the more you'll get the bigger notes, the bigger flavors off of that bourbon, right? So you want to let the vapors come to you. And this, you could tell this is antique. I can tell you, you get a smell of this. This is an antique. Wow. Give you a little hint. So we're going to do a little smelling there. The way to taste this, to really do a taste, you want to get just a very small amount. Let it wet your tongue really good. Hold it there for a moment. And then as soon as you make the swallow, if you take this technique, it's just as soon as you make the swallow, just exhale, blow out the first sip. Just blow out. That dissipates a lot of the initial burn. We're going to let that settle in for a minute or two, and then we'll get our second sip and do the same thing. And then you'll notice a huge difference between sip 1 and 2, okay? So just a small sip, if you will. Wet the entire palate, hold it for a moment, and then just blow out as you take the swallow. So, as you let the flavors settle
So just
in,
wetting, not drinking.
it changes as it sets there, and you breathe in and out a little bit. You get and the first one is what we call in our tastings that Troy and I do, is really shocking the palate, because that first sip is really a shock.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you let that settle in. Take the second sip now. Do the same
And we're just
thing.
wetting the tongue.
Just get a little small sip.
Mm.
You'll notice not nearly the burn. There's the first. You kind of get that. And then when you let that settle in a minute or so, and you'll do the third sip. And that's when you really begin to get the flavors. So now this is just caramely, sweet, just beautiful.
It's got some oak to it. Third sip. We do something when we talk about sharing a bourbon like this, especially a bourbon that's this old. And Charles, what is the best bourbon in the world?
The very best bourbon in the world is always this. It is the one in your glass that you are sharing with friends right now. So, cheers, salute to Raul.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks. And Kevin, you need to tell the story, because I got my mic on, of where the bottle came from.
So the bottle came from Judy and I's first home that we had built together, that we were sweating every dollar. We couldn't believe somebody was going to give us $124,000 to buy a house, right? And so we became very good friends with the neighbors next to us, and Eddie and Robin. And Eddie's father became ill, and he had bottles of whiskey and other things that he had never drank. And so Eddie was going to throw them out. He was like, I don't want these. He wanted to know if I'd like them, and I said, I'd love to have that bottle. And there, I got a Drambuie and a Canadian Club and in the Four Roses. And I said, I'll do them right, and I'll honor your father by keeping that. And so I carried it for 25 years probably, and so Troy and his family came to stay with us. Was it Thanksgiving when you were there? Then you saw that. And I was showing him this. I said, "Hey, you got to see this bottle." And he's like, and so for the next 8 hours, right? He's getting a hold of Charles, and they're talking, and he's like, "Oh, we're trying to figure out how old it is." And so, and we kind of left it at that, right? And then he called me up. He goes, "Hey, I think it'd be really neat if I could have a tasting with that bottle for the wedding." I said, "Absolutely."
It's amazing. Thank you.
Cheers.
So much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah, very special.
It's a great story, too.
It's almost like it was supposed to be.
Yeah.